I have 17 minutes of an online driving lesson, my mom's car keys, and have a gas station hot dog in my system. If we leave now, we could catch them. Or, sure, we go with your genius plan, wait for the police to show up, and calmly and coolly explain to them why our DNA is all over the crime scene. Welcome to set of Sassy Teen demo reel. Christ. I mean, it turned out great, but the road to get here sucked. In this video, I'm gonna go from point A to point Z, show you my process on how I choose what characters to write, what scenes to write, what genres to write, and then go to filming. This is the video from start to finish if you want to know how I create my own demo scenes and perhaps replicate the process for yourself. And maybe just don't do my mistakes. First thing you have to do is create a list of all of the characters that you would love to play. This is, you know, like prickly period drama lead, lovely ingenue, angsty teen. And then after you create that character list, create a genre list of all the genres that you would love to act in. For me personally, those are period dramas, sci-fis, fantasies, you know, coming of age, dark comedy. And then take all the characters that you noted down and start to categorize them within those genres, and you will have some repeats. That's totally fine. Write them down on every genre that they apply to. Then start to go through and see where you can cut characters, where you have duplicate. For instance, the scene we're doing today is a sassy teenager, and a sassy teenager can exist in a lot of different genres. Dramedy, family adventure, and maybe even like a procedural. I want you to pick one of those, so cross out the other two. But this character is so versatile, and if you make the scene vague enough, it can fit within all those genres. So you go through and you start this spring cleaning of this list. Once you have boiled down the target genres and the target characters that you want to play, that's when you start writing. And now this is kind of the challenge, is these scenes should ideally be under 15 seconds. And most of the time what happens is I show you guys the full scene, but when I upload it to Actors Access or Backstage, I do cut it down even further. I just take the meat of it. With that being said, these should be very, very quick. Here's some screenwriting knowledge for you. Each page of a script roughly translates to 1 minute of screen time, unless you're Gilmore Girls and everyone's talking so fast. I need you to keep your first draft to half a page tops. Half a page, because remember the math here. If a whole page is a minute, then half a page is 30 seconds. Hey, if your first draft is at 30 seconds, then you just need to cut half of it, right? Easier said than done. And I want you to try to think, this character and this genre, if you were tasked to make a trailer for the movie or the television series that this mythical scene is set in, you would want to choose the most engaging parts to capture audiences. So I don't want you to just write some really boring bullshit, okay? Give yourself something fun to do, because remember that this should be fun at the end of the day, because it's going to be a lot of work, so you might as well make it fun. But I wanted to capture with this sassy teen in a dramedy, I wanted to get that angst, I wanted to get that fast-paced teen talk and a little bit of humor in there. And so that first draft, we get it all, but also the issue is it's too long. So I distilled it down to a quarter of a page. I could tell you, though, my thoughts before even filming was that I was gonna cut out this friend entirely, because once again, it's just me here and I don't really need this character. Okay, so now you have your script, which is phenomenal, and we're gonna go into filming. I've set this scene for a bedroom because I feel like that's accessible for most people. Once you have your set and you sit down, you have your lights up, which don't worry, I'll explain how I got all of that. All of the ingredients in the soup will be declared, I promise. Just stay with me here, we're talking about acting. Sometimes something happens where the script doesn't translate that well. The issue I was encountering was that if I kept one eye line with one person, this friend, this other character, the scene felt stale. The vibe, it just vomit. So I introduced two characters and I put them on either side of the camera, which is a bit of a risk because we could run into some darting eyes. But I wanted to get that this was a time of the essence scene, and if there's more people in the room, there's also higher stakes to it. And then I could, with the beat of each line, allocate that to a certain person. If I was purposeful with my eye movements. It should not look nauseating to the viewer. Just like in theater, move with purpose. As I was running through the scene, I morphed the lines, which is something that I encourage you to do. If it's not working, you wrote it, babe. You don't need to keep it like that. And a good writer knows when to do re-edits. Then it just kept morphing as I changed the set, as I changed costume and hair and makeup into something completely different. It went from kind of family adventure TV movie thing, which is where I initially went with it, straight to like teen dramedy. And I changed a bit of the lines in it. Honestly, I love this. So that's from the writing to the acting. Now let's talk about the filmmaking side of this, which is by far giving me the biggest headache in the world. Some of the best acting advice I received at the beginning of my career was that the people who make it, the actors who become successful, are not the best actors. They're the most determined actors. They're the ones that have persevered when it got difficult. This was a trying scene, not just as an actor, but as a filmmaker, because I had redone this set 3 times. I had filmed on 3 separate days, and it sucked. I'm not gonna lie. Every time I redid it, I thought, oh, this will be it, this will be it. And then I would throw it in DaVinci, and it would be so difficult to color grade. The whole concept of this is that these need to look good. This goes to show that I don't know everything. Also, that determination or stubbornness to see it through will eventually get you there. Finally, I landed on a color scheme that just complements me better. At the end of the day, I have to realize that it's not about the set, it's about me. I said earlier that more is more, but for something like this, like a teen bedroom, where I really want to sell that this came from like some teen adventure movie, more is more. I need to scratch that fuck. Sometimes less is more. This is such a chaotic video. I feel like the greens really complemented my eyes. I have hazel eyes, and so I feel like that brought out a green in them. I'm not like other girl. Why'd I have to swallow so close to camera? I'm gonna show you how I lit this bitch, because it's entirely different than how I lit it day 1 and day 2. So color me stoked. I have a practical, one practical. That guy was on. You didn't really see him in this take, but you see him in previous days. I have through the curtains an LED panel. That's the, you want me to show you? I'll show you. Boom. He's shining through the curtains. I have another LED panel. This is where I sit. This LED panel is just filling me in a bit more. I don't have a science to why I have this one up. I'm just so done with this scene. I feel like I'm giving Blair Witch, that one scene where she had the camera way too close to her face. I have my big softbox, old, reliable, up and down. Didn't set it to anything fancy. Set it to the same thing I set it to for most of my videos. At some points I talk and the brain injury is quite evident. When I start to slur the words, that's when I know I need cognitive rest. I only have 4 lights. I have 1 practical, 3 unpractical. I did change my hair and makeup for the final one, and thank God I did, because I feel like this just looks cooler. I didn't brush my hair. That's the first component of this. Second, keep the braids in that you had from last night. Don't really do anything different to them. That's gonna add to the chaos of this. Now that I changed every goddamn fucking color, I wanted to wear a different turtleneck, couldn't find it, and couldn't find a shit to give to find it. So wore blue and yellow because I figured that just made sense. And I like textures, I like patterns. I will say this. I usually, in reality, out on the streets, I usually don't wear makeup because it's a texture thing, overstimulating. I have learned though, when filming, it makes my life a lot easier color grading if my skin's all one tone. I don't go crazy here. I'm just trying to even out my skin tone because then that translates way better on camera. Who would have guessed? Props. I don't know, things I own. So I have a jelly cat, because of course I have a jelly cat. Why wouldn't I have a jelly cat? You know what? I'm not even going to explain this to you. Just put some things up that you like. Just do that for me. I feel like I'm being upstaged. This was a rough week. getting to this scene, filming this scene. It was stressful at times, but I took breaks and I reminded myself that this should be fun. Truly, at the end of the day, this is a career that you are going into despite all odds. Make sure it is fun. Make sure it is fun. This was a headache to make. I hope you enjoy this. The next scene I think I'm gonna do is a period drama. I love period dramas. That's my dream, to be in a period drama. I mean, with a face like this, give me a goddamn period drama. So I'm gonna attempt it. We're gonna see. Hopefully it doesn't take me as many tries as it took me this one, but we'll see what happens. How long have I been recording? 22 minutes? Fuck me.